following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, where every man in a thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your wanna be, Jimmy Star's new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. We got a really great show for you guys today. To start off, let me tell you that Ron is not going to be here today or next week. He has some appointments that we couldn't get changed, and the only day he could go see him is on Wednesday, so it messed everything up. So he will be back in 2 weeks, but he's not going to be on the show today or next week. We just got back from vacation. We had a great time. We were in New York and Pennsylvania. We saw his daughter Deirdre. We saw his friends from growing up. So we had a nice relaxing time, and we came back and hit the road running because we got all kinds of stuff going on. So first, let me say hi to the chat room. It's starting to fill in. Stefan Bell is in there. Hey, Stefan Bell. He's been working on our website, jimmystarsworld.com. Cindy Lady Lake is in there. She's always fabulous, and we're doing a bunch of projects with her. We have two great guests today. Russell Todd is coming on the show, and then Bill D. Russell is coming back on the show. He was on at the beginning of the year, I believe, and they're both pretty iconic in horror. And but Russell Todd has also been in some great things that we're going to talk about when he comes on in a few minutes. I think you guys will like it. And thanks for everybody saying looking good. I've got like pink shirt on. I like my pink shirt. So we went to New York, and I had a bunch of really nice shirts and then a bunch of T-shirts packed. And I took when we went to Ron's daughter's house, we took the T-shirts and everything, and I kept them in the suitcase, and I hung up the shirts, and then we left and went to New York, and I forgot to get the hung up shirts. So I didn't have a shirt to wear the whole time. I had to wear T-shirts the whole time we were gone. That's mostly why you don't see any pictures, because I didn't take any. And then we went back to her house on the way home, and I picked them up before we got on the plane coming back. We had a terrible, terrible, terrible flight back. The airline changed gates 4 times. We had to change gates 4 times, and the plane left like 4 hours late. So we were supposed to get home at like 6 o'clock at night. Instead, we got home at midnight. So it was a totally miserable time, and we were definitely happy to be home. So let me pop this up. So I got a lot of cool things going on, you guys. As you guys know, I wrote the book, Pop Goes the Collector. It's starting to do really well. I appreciate everybody who's bought a copy or downloaded it on Kindle. It's also free on Kindle if you have the Kindle app or a member or whatever. I don't know exactly how that works. But I decided that I used to be an author, and I used to do a whole bunch of books back in the day. And I thought I'm going to reissue a bunch of those books and do a bunch of new ones. So I've published a bunch of short stories on Amazon, and the first series is all about the Ashcroft School, and the first 2 books are definitely out. The first one is called Eldrick Thorn, Warlock for the Ages, and the second one is called Ashcroft's Secret Circle, and it's a warlock, like a high school warlock movie. Takes place in New York City. It's going to be a movie eventually, because I'm going to turn all the books into movies hopefully eventually, but check it out. And the third part of the series, which concludes, will be up for sale tomorrow, I believe. It's up there already. We're just waiting for Amazon to approve it. And then I did 2 other. So this all came about also because these are newer short stories that I wrote in the last couple of weeks, is because I watched the movie The Covenant. I was an extra in it. It's one of my favorite movies. And it's a cheesy teenage witch movie, but I love it. So I did some other short stories that are also in that whole warlock vein. One is called The Trinity Pact, and the other one is called The Dark Pact. And they're a lot of fun. And so I've got 4 books up there, with the 5th one getting ready to go up today that will complete the Ashcroft series. And then we're doing a new one after that, and it's called Silver Spies, and it's about 3 spies, all in their 70s, kind of like that, are like James Bond out saving the world. And we've created 3 covers for it, and I've got 3 stories I'm working on for that. So that should go up in the next week or so too. So it's a lot of fun, lots of fun things going on. So please support if you can. I also want to tell everybody to check out JimmyStarsWorld.com. It has everything that's going on Jimmy Star. It was built by Stefan Daniel Bell, and he's my partner in the site, but it's really all about me and the show and movies that we're working on. And it's also got celebrity news. It's got my Dark Frights Horror podcast information on it. It's got my Collector's Corner with Jimmy Star podcast on it. So it's got a whole bunch of great things that we're working on and moving forward with in the year. It's been a big year with lots of new stuff. So I want to thank everybody who's always checking in and checking the site, because I do appreciate it. Then, let's see. We also want to tell everybody that these are the places you can listen and watch the show. Obviously, we're on YouTube. There's a Jimmy Star Show with Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell channel. Hang on one second. There's a Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell YouTube channel. There's a Dark Frights Horror News channel. There's a Collector's Corner with Jimmy Star channel. And there's a Jimmy Star Entertainment channel and a Jimmy Star's World channel. So we have 5 YouTube channels, all with new content continuously. I also want to thank Stefan for that too, because he's doing a lot to help with that and making Jimmy Star Show shorts out of the Jimmy Star Show that we've been putting up there. They're getting a lot of views. So thank you so much. And you can also follow all my social media. This is Jimmy Star on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and X. There you go. I get them all mixed. I'm also on some other platforms, but honestly, there's not enough time in the day to do all of them, so I'm not doing all of them regularly. But I am on Twitter, which is now called X, Instagram, and TikTok, and Facebook regularly. Man, that was a lot. All right, so these are the places that you can listen to the show, you guys. Buzzsprout. We're on the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. We're on Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, and Amazon Prime. All right. Also want to tell everybody, if you need a publicist, Eileen Shapiro and I have a company. It's called World Star PR. You can reach us on social media. We've won best entertainment publicist in the United States a bunch of times. We're really good. And one of the new series that we're promoting is called The Madness of David Judge. It's written and directed by Mike Mayhall, who was on our show a couple of years ago. He's an Emmy nominee. It's a 5-part series. It's free on Tubi. It's also on Amazon Prime and someplace else, but we're pushing Tubi because Tubi's for free. It's a 5-episode series, horror thriller series called The Madness of David Judge. The poster's phenomenal. I think you guys will like it. And so please check it out and watch it, because I think you guys will enjoy it a lot. Okay, all that out. So now what we're going to do is take a little music break, because now I need to rest from all that talking. I hope everybody's doing good. I want to thank everyone for their continuous support for the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. This is our first week back after a 2-week hiatus, and I think you're going to enjoy our guests a lot. But we're going to take a little music break, and here is Jam Wayne, No Problem. So I love this guy. He's really great, so check it out, and we'll be right back with our first guest. Bye-bye. Oops. Hey, Juan. Jam Wayne, you guys. No Problems. Hopefully this is coming on. I didn't realize that.
Okay, I ain't even gon' flex this Sunday. I ain't even up next, but one day you gon' put this tape in, hit the replay, gon' vibe in your ride, chill to the music, feeling what I'm putting inside, dealing with your vulnerable side. This go hard and I ain't even try. Close your eye, just vibe with me. Do or die for life, really. When I ride and he drive, in me. Great spirit is my Siri. Navigate through the ways of the land. Demonstrate when the new understand. Give me grace when I don't understand which way is the best. No, God's got a plan. Throughout my life, my hands stay dirty. Down the ride when it's necessary. Walk a line, I got no worries. Take my time, I'm in no hurry. Brothers die, so my eyes blurry. Another ride to the cemetery. Live your life, you know death coming. But a vape and we gone, homie. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want, you don't really want no problem. All till I see that, till I drop down 6 feet deep in the casket, till my last breath and I breathe that. Stand on the front line, called into action. Keep my mind free, no relapse. Tryna stay clean, but the mud gon' stick. Suds in the fifth, duds on the whip. 1, 2, 5, 6, start curling the silk with a pearl on the hip. Hand trigger flicker all bit. Piece with the wood on the grill. Black in a bit, about to be encouraged when I slip out. Put the Hellcat on drill. Smoke in the spill. Get thrown rap on the seat. You gon' sit with a pack on your still. Been through hell, and I'll be damned if I climb out just so I can jump back in. Back tie spin when I mash out. Looking for the cash out. Red zone, go for the win. Ride for my friend. Most of them gone so long in the grave, but they locked in the pen. Smoke in the wind. Raise up a toast to the ones that be locked down, do in a bed. Know the world ain't shit. Lord heard every prayer you lift up down there in cell block 6. As the world on tilt, everybody Leroy left. Had to put the South on drill. About this here, yeah. Bobbing with the head, now I'm mobbing in the streets I live. Let me make it clear. With the thoroughbreds in the country, blue collar tried and true. And if it comes down to it, and you cross that line in the red, white, and blue, boy, you better salute. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want no problem. You don't really want, you don't really want no problem.
Yay, everybody, that was Jam Wayne. That was funny that the video came on late. I was actually typing in the chat room, but it's fun. That's what happens with live TV, and I have the badassest engineer on the planet. His name is Juan, and you guys, he is fabulous, and W4CY is in a new studio now, so it's cool. But now we're going to bring on our very first guest of the day. Let's see if we can hear him and see him. Hey!
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Good to see you, Jim.
Good to see you too. All right. As you notice, there's only one of us here. It says Jimmy Star on our show and Ron Russell because it's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. But we just got back from vacation, and my husband's a little older, and he has some appointments he had to go to, and the doctors will only see him on Wednesdays. So he got screwed out of this week and next week. So you just got me, but it's okay because you're going to have a good time. So let's do a proper introduction. Everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, totally badass actor Russell Todd. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I appreciate you asking me to be on your show.
I know it's fun. So you have a great resume. First, real quick, say hi to the chat room because the chat room is starting to fill up. That way people see. Hub just got here. Hub is cool. So I've been actually a fan of yours for a long time, and we've had a ton of people that you've worked with on the show that you've actually been in films with and TV shows and stuff with. We've had tons of them on our show, which we'll go over some of it when we get going. But you guys can follow Russell on Instagram. He's Russell Todd LA. So I'm going to assume you live in LA.
I do. I've been out here since 1983, although I went back in the early 90s to New York to do a soap opera.
Which soap opera did you do?
I was Dr. Jamie Frame on NBC sports show Another World.
Another World. Okay. Oh, that's the one I didn't watch. So my mom was a big Young and the Restless and As the World Turns fan. So I always watched those. And I'm really good friends with Sean Kanan and Sean Kanan and Ron Moss.
Oh, sure.
Mine and stuff. And so
Bold and the Beautiful.
Bold and the Beautiful. And I think you did a little bit on Bold and the Beautiful, didn't you? Or no?
I did very briefly. I was like a red herring. They brought me on for people to think I was this villain, I guess, but it wasn't. But I was also at CBS because for a while I replaced someone on Capitol for 6 months. And then when Don Diamont was out for Young and the Restless, they brought me in, I think it was about 8 months to play his character. I forget the character's name, but he was like one of the most popular actors on the show. And it was very interesting to play the character because when I would leave the studio, people would go, "We want Ron. Not Ron. We want Don back." And I said, "Well, I'm just replacing him for a little while." But it was interesting how the fans reacted to one of their favorite characters being replaced for a bit.
I think, first of all, I love soapies. We call them soapies. I live in Palm Springs. All the soapies live here.
Very nice.
So like we were friends with Tristan Rogers, rest in peace. He just recently passed away. Sean Kanan has a house here. I don't know, there's a whole bunch of them. And so we see them pretty regularly and they've all been on the show. So on the board, just to give you,
Michael Corbett's out there.
Yes, I've met him. He's actually one I don't know. I met him. I met him at a Sean Kanan book signing, but I don't actually know him. But here's the different people from the Bold and the Beautiful that have been on the show that we're friendly with. Ron Moss, Bobby Eakes, Sean Kanan, Jacob Young, Ian Buchanan, Sean Whalen, Patrika Darbo, Barbara Crampton, who I know you've done a bunch of stuff with, Antonio Sabato Jr. and Kyle Lauder have all been guests on the show, and many of them have been to my house for dinner and stuff because we entertain a lot and when they're in town, so it's a lot of fun. And I love the Soapies. Our very first soap opera star that we ever had was Michael Damian.
Oh, sure.
And we had Michael Damian, and we got a really big, like millions of people watched the show. And then like a year or two later, Michael Damian came back to Young and the Restless, and we actually got contacted by CBS, and CBS asked us to have him on again because they got so much of a great response
That's
from
great.
him. So I love all the Soapies, even though in my old age, I don't get to watch them. But when I was in college, I skipped school every day to see General Hospital.
I hear that so often that, people that come up to me or write me, they say, they started in college. A lot of them say I watched them with my grandmother also. They say that. And soap fans, like horror fans, are incredibly devoted. They just, especially soap, because we're in their homes 52 weeks a year. And they feel like they know you not only as your character, but as the individual, as the actor. And they do to a great extent because, like I said, we're in their homes 52 weeks a year.
We had this thing. So I live in California now, but I was born and raised in Florida, and I went to this thing. I used to be a celebrity clothing designer. I used to make one-of-a-kind clothes, and I had 3 stores in South Florida, and Elton John shopped there, and Madonna, like everybody shopped there because my shit was really cool. And but I love the Soapies, and so I got invited to Super Soap Weekend, and dressed Steven Martinez, which I don't know if he still goes by that name. He has a bunch of different names, but he was on General Hospital for like a long time. I think he was like Nicholas Cassadine anyway, really cool guy. Still keep in touch with him. He's a professional pickleball player.
Oh, wow.
But I dressed him for it, and I had the best time there, meeting all the soap opera stars. I've been fortunate that I don't ever have to go to I don't really go to any of those events as a paying guest. I'm usually just friends. I'm friends with everybody, so I get to go in.
Good.
I get to go in as media, and so that's how I actually built this whole show. I would go to Comic Cons, horror conventions, and take tons of clothes and take them to my room, and then I would meet the people and say, "Hey, I make cool clothes. If you wear them, you can have them." And that's how I became friends with like Malcolm McDowell and Doug Bradley and Pinhead.
Sure.
Clive Barker, Lance Henriksen, and that's how I got them all on the show. So in the first year of this show, I had all these super famous, people on, and everybody was like, "We're 18 years old, by the way."
Well, good for you. That's great.
And they were like, people would be like, "How did you get like all these like people?" And that's basically how I did it. I would give away free clothes at the conventions, become friendly with the people, and then just ask them to come on the show, and they all would be like, "Yeah, let's come on the show." So. Right. So I'm actually, and in your movies, because I'm pretty good friends with several people that have been in some of your movies. But before I talk about the horror movies, because we have a huge horror audience, and I even have a podcast, a Dark Frights Horror News podcast, which I'm going to put your movies in them now that you've been on.
Perfect, thank you.
But Where the Boys Are.
Yes, Alan Carr.
It's a great movie. So yours is the remake of the 60s movie, right?
Exactly. And I played the Jim Hutton, Tim's dad, the Jim Hutton role. The 4 girls picked me up hitchhiking on the way to have some fun in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And then all, the hijinks and everything that ensues there. And I played opposite Lisa Hartman in that. But of course, Wendy Shaw was in it, Lynn Holly Johnson, Lorna Luft.
So my husband used to have a show called Set the Record Straight, and so he actually has interviewed Lorna Luft for that. And I wish kind of like he would have enjoyed this, but we've actually had Christopher McDonald was on it, and he's been on our show. And and I lived in Fort Lauderdale literally until I was 50. I moved here when I moved out of Florida when I was 50.
Right, to Palm Springs?
No, I moved to Pennsylvania for a few years, and now I've been in Palm Springs for 6 years. But I loved Florida. It was a great place to be. It was great for business. It wasn't great for the movie business so much, but I was an extra in every movie that's ever been made, though, in Florida. Like literally, I've been in all of them because I used to go to them. And that's how I would meet people. Yeah, I've been on all the TV series too, like Glades and the one
Miami Vice.
I was on Miami Vice, and I did on all of them. I only went to those to be an extra, and I used to, because I did a lot of independent film. Everybody who's an extra is a filmmaker or is somebody trying to make it in the business. So I got cast in a bunch of like indie crappy films, just from that. But then I decided in my older age that I really suck as an actor. I produce a lot of films and I'm genius at that. And there's more money in it unless you're a name like you. Everybody else gets paid peanuts. And so I figured it's like better. It's better, to produce. So I have like 8 films that I'm in the middle of producing right now. And now that I had you on my show, I'm going to put you on my list of people that I know when people are looking for casting, because everybody comes to me.
Please do. That's wonderful.
So I love it. So do you like horror movies? Because you've been.
Well, yes, it's funny. I've been so typecast. I've done, He Knows You're Alone, the first one, and then Friday the 13th Part 2, and then Chopping Mall. Actually, I've only done 3. Well, I shouldn't say that. That was in my first career. And then I took many years off to be an agent. I represented Steadicam operators for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And now I'm back in the business.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you did Stiletto.
Yeah, another horror picture that's coming out in January, and it's going to have a wide release, and it's a terrific film. Directed by Samuel Gonzalez Jr. and stars Gigi Gustin, Colleen Camp, Stephen Blakehart, and I play a interesting, mysterious bad guy. And I think it's a terrific part, and I'm very proud of it.
I love it. Gigi's been on our show because she does a lot of Marcel Waltz films, or she has done. Marcel's a very good friend of ours, and so whenever he comes out with a movie, we usually have the whole cast come on, and we do like a cast show.
Because they just released Brute 1976.
Yeah, so I went to the premiere for that one, and I got invited to the premiere for for Stiletto too.
Oh, were you? Oh, wow!
I didn't go to it because I've had 2 knee surgeries this year, and 2 knee replacements, and so so literally we haven't gone. We're hoping to start going again in October because we have a cheesy movie called Clown Motel 3 that I produced. It's called 3 Ways to Hell, and my husband Ron plays one of the main characters in it. So we're hopefully going to go to that in October.
Yeah. And then there's another one that you mentioned, kind of If It Bleeds. I just saw the screening of that Matthew Hirsch produced and directed. But that not directed, I think produced. Oh, directed. Yes, he did direct that one too. But that's hopefully will be coming out the end of this year, the beginning of next year.
Great cast.
Yeah.
Actually, with this cast, so Sarah Nicklin's been on our show, Adam Bucci, Gigi's been on the show, and Doug Jones has been on the show.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's great.
And Dee Wallace is getting ready to come on the show. She just gave me her email to set up a date. So you have Doug Jones, Bonnie Aarons, who's the nun.
Nice.
Cleo Thomas, Catherine Corcoran, who's also in something.
Who's also in Stiletto.
Yes.
Yes.
Kirsty Fox from Terrifier.
She's amazing. She's terrific. She's in If It Bleeds also.
How do you pronounce her name? Is it Kirsty?
Chrissy.
Oh, it's just Christy. Okay. It just spells it weird. Okay.
Yeah. But Doug, Doug and I are friends, and he is in If It Bleeds. But it's an anthology, and there are 3 different segments, and we're in different segments. We've always wanted to work together, so we're actually in the same film, but we never worked together actually. So we're hoping one day that someone casts us together in a picture.
Oh, I hope so. That would be. He's a very nice guy.
He is. He's a terrific person. Fantastic.
And he's done such huge movies, but one of my favorites is Hocus Pocus, because I think Hocus Pocus is such a fun thing. I have a Billy head. I collect action figures.
Oh, that's great.
People who've been on the show, and I just collect action figures in general. Like, I don't have a retirement fund, but like I have a huge, like thousands of 6-foot animatronics and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, wow.
And I have a new movie I'm working on that you might work out for, and it's called The Legend of Bunny Man. And I've already had toys made, for it, even though I don't have the funding yet, but I'm working on it, but I will get the funding.
Well, you made the toys before making the movie.
I made the toys before I made the movie. Yeah. Because I like toys and I like to have them, and they'll be prototypes, because I'll make them better as I go along.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about Friday the 13th, Part 2. 5 years after the events of the first film, a summer camp next to the infamous Camp Crystal Lake is preparing to open, but the legend of Jason is weighing heavy on the proceedings. Amy Steele, John Fury, Adrian Kings, who's been on the show.
Yep.
Steve Dash was actually a really good friend of mine because he lived in Florida, and we used to do stuff together all the time. Mm-hmm. Warrington Gillette, who was on our show this year, Stuart Charno, Kirsten Baker, Betsy Palmer, who was also on our show like many, many, many years ago. So how was it? Because it's such an iconic series. How was that for you to be in, really basically one of the most iconic series, ever? We've had Sean Cunningham on the show.
Yeah. Well, to show you how big this is, we just had, I think it was the biggest convention ever for Friday the 13th. It was held in Los Angeles, and people came in from all over the country. And it was represented by actors and people like, I think Sean Cunningham was there, and Manfrini, whatever, I forget his name.
Manfredini,
Yes,
yes.
who did the music. He was there, and actors, like maybe 70 to 80 actors from all the projects.
Yeah, that was Tommy Brunswick.
What was it?
Tommy Brunswick's show.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah, she comes on here all the time.
Yeah, so it was fantastic. But when we did, I was in part 2. But when we did part 2, I had seen part 1, and I thought it was a terrific movie, and it scared me like everyone else. And it was a thrill to know there was a sequel, and I'd be part of it. But when you're doing it, the franchise had just begun. You had no idea it would have any legs, and no idea that it would continue for so many, sequels. So you make the movie, and you kind of move on, and some of us stayed in touch and everything, but you move on to the next project, and you really don't think about it. It wasn't until years later that it really started, having tremendous following. And then we realized, we were part of something very special.
So maybe like 15 or 20 years ago, Spencer's Gift came out with like a 7-foot-tall mechanical Jason, and I actually have it.
Do you really? Yeah.
And we've had we've had every person who's played Jason on our show, every single one of them. Even the fan films, we've had the fan film Jasons on our show too. I'm pretty good friends with Kane Hodder, and I don't know everybody who's been on it, because it's one of my more favorite franchises. And I think just to be a part of it, I mean, you can probably go signing autographs all the time just from that.
We do a lot of conventions, which is great. People love to see the actors from the show, and it's nice. And, they bring the poster mostly to get signed, and maybe they're coming from the opposite coast, and they have all the actors that live on that coast. And then sometimes I'm the only one left they have to catch on this coast, or Amy Steele or John Fury on this coast. So it's quite a hoot, and it's wonderful to meet the fans at these conventions.
It makes it's super fun. And I guess so. It's funny because posters take up a lot of space, so I don't have that many posters. But I have like masks and action figures, and I have like other kind. I have machete-looking things, that are signed and stuff like that. But I don't actually have the posters because I don't have wall space for everything. I have a ton of posters and I have a lot. I used to always get the pictures, like autographed pictures and stuff. So I have 2 big books from when I was young. I'm old now. But when I was like in my 20s and early 30s, like I would go all the time and collect them all. And then I thought, they don't really do you any good now in the social media world. So now I get pictures and invite them on the show. And that way, we put them out in social media because it makes it a lot more fun. But I think it must be fun to meet, just go and meet all the fans. I mean, I know some of them are crazy, but even the crazy ones are fun.
It's always, conventions are terrific because, like you said, you get to meet them. These are the people that are keeping this franchise going. And it's a thrill, for them. They love to meet you, who, someone they've watched in a show, and they know more than we do about the work we've done. It's incredible. They, even not only in horror, I remember doing a soap opera. I played a doctor, and they would tell me backstory. They would ask me questions of things, and and I was the 10th guy to play Dr. Jamie Frame on Another World, and I didn't know a lot of the backstory, and they would fill me in. But the fans know so much more because they're so devoted to these projects.
So I live in Palm Springs, so I don't see it, but I see the pictures on Facebook, and on, I think it's Tuesday nights in LA, they have like this, like a horror game night thing where there's groups of people competing and they have to answer all the horror questions, and it's super cool. And I thought, I'd be good at that. I know all this stuff. And so I was talking to the people who go, and Tommy Brunswick is always there, who did the convention you just did. She's fabulous. And they don't ask like story plot lines. They ask like, what color pin was the character wearing on his shirt, and I mean,
I would fail that game.
I thought I knew a lot about horror movies, and I was like, I couldn't get a single question right. I was like, holy shit, this is really hard stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for diehard fans, and I feel like I'm a diehard, fan, but more of like a general diehard fan.
Yeah.
For the characters in general. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Chopping Mall. I see Kelly Maroney. We're friends. We're friends and friendly. I don't talk to her all the time, but we see her at a lot of premieres, and she's been on the show. Chopping Mall, another big cult following film. Kelly Maroney, Barbara Crampton, Tony O'Dell, Dick Miller, Nick Siegel, Carrie Emerson, Susie Slater, John Terlesky, Angus Scrimm, who actually I've met a bunch of times before he passed. But that's a cool concept of a movie that nobody's really tried to bastardize it and change it.
It's true. Yeah, it was produced by Julie Corman, who was the wife of Roger Corman, and we took over the Sherman Oaks Galleria. I think it was maybe for 4 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and we would get in there at 8 or 9 o'clock at night when the stores closed, and we'd wrap up. We'd have to be done by 8 a.m. and we would destroy the place. You know, there's these killer robots chasing us all night and picking us off one by one. And it was a lot of fun to do. We were all kind of a young group of actors that didn't have a lot of credits, but it was directed by Jim Wynorski, who was a lot of fun, and written by Steve Mitchell, who was terrific. And you know, running around that mall, blowing it up and shooting the guns at the robots, which became futile, but we kept shooting them anyway, like it was going to change something. But a lot of good memories from that. And we just had, it was in Culver City last week. There was a screening, sold out at the theater down there. And we did a Q&A after, and they had some terrific questions. But it is amazing that picture too has lasted so long and become kind of a cult classic.
Oh, I think that's what's cool about a lot of the films that you're in, I think, is that they, you know, those are two extremely cult classic films. And I do believe that Gigi Gustin is like going to be like the next big thing.
She's terrific. Not only a terrific actress, but a terrific person, and so wonderful to be around.
I think that the films that she's in are going to end up being kind of cult-like also as we get going. And Chrissy Fox, Terrifier already is like a cult. Whether you like Terrifier or you don't like Terrifier, you can't deny that they have created like the most amazing, franchise ever.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. I just worked with Nadia, who is with Spencer Charnas, who is Ice Nine Kills, who does the main themes.
Yes.
So I did a little promo for them because they've launched a makeup line, and I did a promo for them, which was a lot of fun.
Have you been in music videos? Have you been in any music videos?
Yes, I'm in a music video that's going to be coming out soon for a individual. He's a singer. His name is Chatter. And so that's going to be coming out soon. So I was in that video recently.
I know. I love that shit. So what I want to do real quick for people who are watching, we're going to play the trailer for Chopping Mall real quick, just so I have it in the video when we put the video up. So you introduce it to us, and then Juan's going to play it. Juan, get the video that says Chopping Mall Killbots. Introduce it for us, and then hang on.
All right. So we're a bunch of young people that are partying in a mall. And we decide to take this furniture store where one of the guys works, and we're going to party there. And this mall is now protected. It's the very first night. It's protected by robots. And that very night, it's an electrical storm, and a bolt of lightning hits the transformer on the roof, and the robots go berserk. And they don't recognize us. We have badges. They're supposed to recognize the badge and say, "Have a nice day," and move on. But of course, in a movie like this, all hell breaks loose.
Love it.
Hall has a new security system, completely mobile, user-friendly, and absolutely fail-safe. But something is going wrong.
There's another one of those things out there.
Waiting to pick us up one by one!
He ain't getting me.
It's not stopping!
They're here for your protection and shopping. will never be the same. Killbots.
There's a lot of action in there. A lot of action.
You know, I totally forgot about the snakes and the spiders, though, for some reason, until I just watched that again, now.
Or Kelly Maroney actually had to deal with that. But you showed the trailer for Killbots. It was later called Chopping Mall.
Yes, I know it's later called Chopping Mall. That was the best trailer of all the ones, though, on YouTube.
It actually is. I agree with you.
So I picked it because of that. But yes, you guys. So the film nowadays, if you're looking for it, you got to look up Chopping Mall because it's not called Killbots. But that's the YouTube description was Chopping Mall /Killbots. But yeah, it's a great movie. It's so much fun. It's so campy. I think that, the time that all of those movies came out, I really enjoy the campy movies a little bit more than I do the really hardcore, serious ones, even though I'm a big fan of like the Saw movies and stuff. But like, I think that the gore has gotten so out of whack, and it's so crazy.
And back then were very practical effects. Now it's all AI. They can do anything.
They can do anything.
Yeah.
Like we went though to so Marcel Waltz, very good friend of mine. I love his movies, but the last two movies that we saw that he did, in both of them, like somebody gets their penis chopped off, and they show it, and I was just like, that's getting, I don't know, it's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
For me, great movies. I recommend everybody to go see them. But for me personally, so my husband, he's 85. And so we end up watching a lot of Tubi because we watch a lot of movies that were from the 80s, still on Tubi. And that's where you can watch them all. But we noticed lately, and we've talked about it on the show a bunch of times, like a lot of the movies, not just in the horror movies, but like we watch movies where like now it shows people like pooping and wiping their rear end. And they shows everything. And I don't mean like little crappy movies. I mean like Julianne Moore movies and like, the biggest Academy Award people in there. I don't know. In my personal opinion, like we don't need to see all that kind of stuff in a movie. And I think for me, it kind of like wrecks the movie a little bit because, everybody knows Julianne Moore poops, but I don't need to see it. In the film. And so I think that, and with the horror, I think the horror stuff, as much as I like it all, and I get the young people are, because I'm getting older. I think that the young people probably like enjoy it a whole lot, but it's kind of like the Terrifier movies. I watched all of them and congratulations to them, but it's a little too gory for me at 60. I like it when they have really cool stories, and actually Chopping Mall was a cool story. It really was.
It was novel. It was definitely a novel idea, and I think it worked. And again, the fans have stuck with it, which is great.
Yeah, I saw even, I think, oh no, that was a different movie. I think Kelly Maroney was like trying to get her cheerleading outfit from one of her movies. I kept seeing it on
Night of the Comet. Was that?
That was Night of the Comet. I think that was. I think it was Night of the Comet. I was thinking it was Chopping Mall at the beginning. All right, so you've done soap operas, you've done movies, TV series, you guys. He's been on a bunch of them. Jake and the Fat Man, Throb, Divorce Court, High Mountain Rangers, Jesse Hawks, Riptide.
And Riptide was great because my dad was Cesar Romero, which we were only supposed to do one episode. We played Italian oceanographers, and we only spoke Italian, so we had to learn everything phonetically. But they liked it a lot, and they wrote us back into another episode. And during breaks, we would be sitting in our chairs and talking, and I would say to Caesar, tell me stories, about old Hollywood. He goes, what do you want to hear? I go, anything you say would be fascinating. And he would literally be telling me stories about partying with Mary Pickford and Charlie Chaplin, and how at that time they had such class and grace, and how my generation and generations to come lacked that. But his stories were fascinating, and it was really cool to be sitting with him. And I did a Western that was on TNT called Border Shootout, and that was with Glenn Ford, another icon. And I got a chance to work with him, which was a thrill. And if anyone wants to check that out, I love that I got to play a bad guy in, the black hat and the duster. And, their idea for makeup every day was for me to stand in front of them, and they would pick up dirt and throw it at me, which was great. And, my whole duster, everything was covered in dirt. And I played a bad guy with a good heart. And it's a terrific piece. I liked it a lot. And that's available, I'm sure, somewhere on the internet. Border Shootout.
I know I love all the old Hollywood stories. So my husband, being 85, his best friend was Jane Russell.
Oh, sure.
And he did stuff. He worked with like Elizabeth Taylor and Jane Russell. And Tab Hunter, and he knew everybody. He didn't know Cesar
Yeah.
Romero because we see Cesar Romero all the time on the Golden Girl replays, and I always ask him if he's met him, and he said no, we didn't get a chance to meet Cesar Romero. But I think that, it's just different. I get that times have changed, and for him, Hollywood is different from me because I'm a child of the '80s. Like I was good friends with Corey Haim, and I'm friends with Corey Feldman, and like the '80s people, and more like the older people. And now there's a new generation. But our show basically appeals. Most of our guests fit in the like 40 to 75-year-old range. So everybody knows who they are. We did have one young band come on, Emblem 3, and there was a bunch of like mid-20s guys, and I don't think they could handle it. I think our show actually got too wild for them because my husband was really wild with him. But we don't really have an audience for them, even though it did pretty well. But you're our total demographic. So my question to you would be, because I know from talking with all the soap opera friends that we have, soap operas are super difficult because like you gotta know your lines, and if you mess up, I mean, you basically get fired. If you mess up a lot,
they're factories. They're factories. You do have to memorize a lot, and especially depending on how popular your character is that time, and if you're working 2 shows that week or 5 shows. But it's get through it, get through the day. You have to make that day because you're doing an entire script in one day. So it's very different than a movie. You come in for 5, 6, 7 pages or 10 pages, whatever. But soap opera is a very different beast.
Yeah, they said like Sean Kanan would say sometimes he's got like 50, 60, 70 pages in a day.
Yeah.
That he has to like memorize, which made me think like, first of all, I wouldn't be able to do it because my memory isn't that good. So then how does it differ then from doing regular TV? Because you've got soap operas is one avenue, actual TV series is another, and then you've got movies. Like how is it differentiated?
If you're doing a TV series, you're there for the week. And so you have many days to shoot different scenes. So you don't have, I try to memorize everything before I even hit the set, but you can just keep, checking it and memorizing every night as well. So as far as the script, that it's much easier on a TV show than on a soap opera. Although some soap operas use cue cards. The soaps I did, Another World, we did not use them. So it was a lot of memorization. And as a doctor, Dr. Jamie Frame, I had to learn a lot of technical things. So it was quite intense. But I remember doing a show years ago. It was called Divorce Court, and Superior Court was the other one. And, as a lawyer on that show, we had our opening statements were 5
like
pages.
A monologue.
They were monologues, and you had to memorize them. And they wanted to shoot those as if it was a true court scene and just, from the beginning to the end. So, there's certain techniques to learn to memorize better. And I think when you're on a show, the longer you're there, the easier it is to memorize. So that pops off, into your head, off the page much easier. But a film, again, you're shooting just a handful of pages a day. So memorization is much easier for that.
Yeah, films are different. So I've produced a bunch of films, about 40 something films, and I think that I've worked with a lot of actors. A lot of actors use cue cards too. I don't want to tell anybody because people probably don't want anybody to know that. But there's lots of very well-known actors that use cue cards. Ron, my husband, because he's still working, he has a hearing aid, and so I take his phone and I feed him the lines. And if he forgets anything, I listen on his. I feed him the lines, so he can, do it because he has a hard time remembering now.
Yeah.
That he's older. Do you find it now that you're older? Is it harder for you to memorize lines, or is it pretty much the same because you've been doing it for such a long time?
No, I think, you lose it. I think it's much easier if you're doing it constantly, if you're on a show regularly. But if you're not, I think it is tougher. The brain is like a muscle, and the more it's being used, the more it gets used to that. The first few months on a soap opera, it was tough. But soon after that, literally the lines were just kind of popping off the page into my head. And also you get to know the character better. So you kind of know what you're going to say, and the other characters and what's going to come at you. And if you're really listening, you can respond. Even if you don't have the exact response that was written, you're going to make enough sense that it's workable for the scene.
That's telling me that you can watch the movie on YouTube. Night of the Comet's also free on YouTube.
Oh, good.
People in the chat room are telling me like things. So you guys, if you want to watch, if you want to watch Chopping Mall, it's on YouTube. And so let me ask you this: if you had your wherewithal, like what is your favorite of the 3 ways to do it. Like if you were going to go become, you could go and do whatever you wanted to, and you were
Right.
the most popular actor ever. What medium is your preference?
Well, I think there's always something magical about being on a movie screen. That, you know, you sit there in the theater. I love going to the theater. You know, and the theater was dying for a while. It might still be a bit, but I think people are starting to go
I
back.
think they're starting to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, but sitting there in the darkness and that shared communal experience, and watching the light hit the screen and being, you know, so tall is pretty magical for, you know. Although whenever I see a project, the first time I cringe because I never know what to expect. But that's my favorite as far as working on a film. And there's something about a film. Perhaps there's more time to deal with technical things, and just filmmaking is fascinating to me. Always has been. I wanted to be a director of films when I was growing up. So I think that's a medium I will always love. But it's terrific doing TV, doing commercials, doing you know, soap opera is also wonderful. I'm actually in a soap opera right now. I can't say the name until they release the press, but I shot for a couple days already, and I've got more coming this month. But a soap opera that's been on for about 10 years.
Oh,
So,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome. So do you like to watch yourself work? Like, I know a lot of people they don't like to go like.
No, I like I said, I kind of fear looking at it the first time, like many actors. But once I've seen it, then I'll invite friends to go or watch or come here and watch some stuff on the television here. But
you don't really have dogs, you know, like a lot of us horror movie actors, like, you know, we might have a few good films in there, but like we also have like a million, like I've got some of the shittiest movies you'll ever see that I've been in, you know. They're like embarrassing. We have one called Croaker, and it's so bad. I think we made it for like, you know, 15 grand or something, and it's just like the scariest, most terrible movie ever. It's like from 15 years ago. And so but you don't have that. Like you kind of like started off right off the bat in some pretty good stuff. So you don't have like this embarrassing, you know, resume that you have to fall back on, which I find actually really cool about you, because a lot of the other people that we've had who are, you know, really well known, they all have like some real shitaroos, but you don't actually have any.
I'm not going to challenge you on that, because I don't want to admit it if there are.
Oh, no, they're pretty good, though. I think they're pretty good. So let me ask you this question. I like to ask all the actors to come on anyway. So bucket list, any male or female actor, if you could work with anyone living or dead, who would you like to work with? And then the second part of the question will be, if you could have ever been in any movie that's ever been made, what movie would you like to have been in?
I think I always would have enjoyed working. I think he's retired now. Is Jack Nicholson.
Yes, me too. Oh, fabulous.
Just fabulous. So connected to everything he does, and so powerful, and it can be humorous too. We've seen him play humor in films too.
And nobody's ever picked Jack Nicholson. That's a really good one. And
really? I'm surprised.
You know, out of like, I don't know, we've had like almost 1,000 shows, and nobody's ever picked Jack Nicholson. So that's a good one. I like that. Yeah. Okay, give me a female. I think Jack Nicholson's a great talent.
Yeah. And I'll pick one that I worked with already. Actually, we did a commercial together, Sharon Stone. I think she's
fabulous.
Yeah, I think she's a terrific actress. And of course, she left the industry for a while because she had some medical issues. And I believe she's back, which I hope she's back, because she's a wonderful actress. And I would have loved to play opposite her. And we did a commercial together for a Scotch that only played in Europe and Asia, and it's black and white. But if anyone wants to see it, it's a great spot. If you Google Sharon Stone and the word Scotch, it'll pop up.
Oh, no, that's fun.
Yeah.
Actually, my stepdaughter used to work for an agency in LA, and she handled Sharon Stone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was cool. And then she got out of the business totally. She worked with Sharon Stone and Paula Abdul, and then she hated it, and she was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. But she didn't say anything bad about them, so she just
Sharon's wonderful.
It wasn't for her. It just wasn't for her, you know.
Yeah, sure. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone. See, I like it, even though there's lots of like people say terrible things, and there's like so much like backstabbing and terrible things that happen in the background. But I kind of like let all that just blow off. I enjoy it. I've met some of the nicest people ever. I'm having a good time, and if I feel like the people are a problem, I won't use them again. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you live, you learn.
That's right. You live, you learn. And what movie would you have liked to have been in if you could have been in anything?
Well, because I've always wanted to do a movie that involved heavy prosthetics. Like Doug Jones has done so many of them.
Yeah,
with
lots.
although now appearing as with seeing his face, which is great. But growing up, I loved all the Planet of the Apes movies.
Me too.
I don't know what it was, but they just captured me. You would see the humanity. Use a strange term to use, considering they were apes, but you would see their expressions as if they were human, and their everything going on behind their eyes, but they were apes. And I just thought that was magical always. And so I would run on the very first day that those would open to the theater and see them. And then all of them have come for years and years after. That's also quite a franchise. So I would love to be in perhaps one of the Planet of the Apes films.
Oh, I love it. So
I
love
prosthetics, or any other film where there's heavy prosthetics and your emotions and your eyes, show and tell it all through the.
Which I think is a very difficult thing for a lot of actors to do. The really good ones can do it. I feel like, now we're in a different world, and we talk about this a lot, which I'm not knocking it, but there's so many crowdfunding movies. I'm really good friends with all the people who make the biggest crowdfunding movies.
Right.
But unfortunately, because they sell roles, a lot of the people that buy the roles can't act, and so they don't have those eye movements or any of those
Right.
other things. And I always bring up them Hall brothers, rest in peace, as one of them passed away. But they make they've crowdfunded like 16 or 17 movies for big money.
Mhm.
And but then in their movies, there's always like 50 characters that have like a line that don't even really need to be there, but they're in there because they paid, for the line. And it's unfortunate because I think if they had somebody just gave them some money, I think they would make fabulous, movies without all of that.
Right.
But unfortunately, the model for us independent filmmakers is like get the money however you can. And sometimes it wrecks it. But even then, the movies are good. They've done some excellent movies. And then I've seen some really terrible, crowdfunded ones also,
Yeah.
but I haven't done it yet. I'm actually trying to not ever have to do that. I try to, find the money from people to get it done, and hopefully we will.
Well, I think it's amazing anytime anyone gets a movie made, because of
I do
the
too.
challenge of raising the movie, and then all the intricacies of putting it together, and so many departments and obstacles. I mean, it's truly incredible, and to get anything.
I agree, and I think sometimes I'm a little bit more critical probably than I should be, but I also believe anybody who comes up with an idea, gets it cast, comes up with the money, and gets it distributed, whether it's good or bad, it's a lot of work, and not many people can do it. And kudos to them. I have 3 films out now. One of them's really good, but it doesn't have any named people in it, so it's not doing that well. I have another one that's got a few named people in it. It's doing okay. And I have one that I think is just like totally bombing. But they're like lower budget indie. And I think that I'm getting ready to do a bigger budget, like a $3 million film. And hopefully that's going to, do better. I really, all these movies that I'm talking about, they were made years ago, but they finally just got distribution. But I'm really trying to take myself out of the under $1 million budget range and go from like 1 to 5 million, and we'll see. I've got 9 of them, so we'll see what happens.
Good for you. That's
Do you have? So, what's your favorite genre then? Do you like with Planet of the Apes? Like I used to collect all the toys from the TV series Charlton Heston back when Charlton Heston was on it. I had the toys from that. I liked the Mark Wahlberg one. Then the newer ones, I didn't watch all of them. I think I've watched all but the last one. I like them. I don't like them as much as I like the older ones. But
Me too. I mean, I love the older ones. They were just terrific. And also it was a new idea, and it was fascinating, the concept.
And the action figures are worth money now if you've got the action figures from back then. Yeah. Which I do have a bunch of them from them. I like the Mark Wahlberg version one just because I like Mark Wahlberg. I think Mark Wahlberg's, a great actor from someone who started out as a hip hop artist. He really
quite a transition.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah. It was super big. So what do we got coming up that we need to let people know about?
Well, Stiletto, which will be coming out in January, I believe, in theaters all over the country, all over Europe, I believe. If It Bleeds, which hopefully will be coming out, it's probably in 2026 that'll come out again, that picture. And I play something I never got to play, kind of this nerdy. I play a nosy neighbor in that, and we just had a screening of that, and I was very happy with the work there and the movie. I think it's terrific.
So you'll show people that one. You'll tell them about it.
Yeah, and that's the one with Doug Jones and Chrissy Fox and Dee Wallace and Nadia, a bunch of people. And then another one where I got to play the President of the United States very briefly, called Sweetest Day, which is also coming out next year, I believe.
Oh, I wrote down Sweetest Day, Catherine Corcoran, Kelly Maroney, Alex McNichol, and Deborah Craig.
Yeah. Kelly and I actually have a scene together. I mean, the scene I'm in is with Kelly, which is nice. So we got to reunite and work together again. And then I have a podcast that's coming out this month called Seduction. Eric Roberts is in it. And that will be on all platforms. What's that?
He's been on the show a couple times.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Eric works a lot.
Yeah, he works a lot. He's a great guy.
Really nice guy. Terrific. I see him at fan conventions. Yeah.
It's funny because I went to a screening of a movie called Elevator, and Eric Roberts was the star, along with Matt Rife, who I don't think anybody knew who Matt Rife was when that movie came out, but now Matt Rife's a huge comedian, huge star. And they asked me, because I knew Eric, they asked me if I would like go pick him up from his car down at the parking lot, and bring him up and take him back down. And he was the nicest guy, and he was like, he needs somebody to take, because I was like, why can't you just walk up yourself? And he was like, because of the movies I'm in, people try to start shit with him, and he's like, and I can't, if I hit somebody, that's it, I'm done, And he was just like people, and I was like, it just made me think like, because I would never think, because he's like this karate and all these karate movies, that I would want to go start a fight with Eric Roberts. It just seemed like the dumbest thing. Like people,
you never know.
I guess I'm just old and stupid. I don't know, but like I would never do that. But it made sense.
Had those experiences, yeah.
Yeah. So when he said it, it made sense to me, and I was like, I guess I just wasn't like thinking full throttle, because I would think if I'm always really excited if I get to meet someone who I admire their work and I think they're a big deal. So I would never think to like start trouble with somebody, but I guess that happens. Does that happen to you too?
No, I've been very lucky. Everyone's been very nice. Although they've come up to me in interesting places. I remember having dinner once in New York. I was on the soap opera, and I went to the restroom, and I was at the urinal, and someone comes up to the urinal next to me, and he turns to me and goes, "Do you mind if I get an autograph?" And I said, I'm taking a piss. I'd be very happy to do it when I get out of here, but
we were at a Mahal Brothers screening, and I had met Richard Grieco, but we didn't know each other very well. And Ron, my other half, went up to him when he was in the bathroom peeing, because Ron was also peeing, and he introduced himself while he was peeing and said, "Hey, we'd love to have you on our show." And he pitched the whole show while he was on there, and then he came out and I talked to him too, and then he came on our show like 2 weeks later, and we've been friends ever since. But I mean, it was a very odd way to do it, though. I probably wouldn't have done it that way.
It's probably not the best place to do anything.
To solicit things, no. But I wouldn't ask for an autograph, though. First of all, like, you got to wash your hands.
That's it.
So I think that's funny. But one thing that's good about you is that you've maintained your looks.
Oh, thank you.
Not everybody maintains their looks, so you maintain your looks, so you can still play like the leading role, older gentleman, in things. And I think you probably will, because I think a lot of people are going to see this interview, and hopefully we'll get you in a bunch of stuff. Let's see. We want to tell people again, follow you on your Instagram at Russell Todd LA. You guys, Chopping Mall and Friday the 13th Part 2 are probably both on. They're streaming someplace. You guys,
yeah, without doubt.
So check them out. Make sure you look up for Chopping Mall though, and not Killbots, because that's the wrong one. And then maybe if It Bleeds comes out, or Stiletto comes out, maybe I'll talk to Gigi, and maybe we can do like a cast show or something to bring.
Yeah, that would be terrific. That'd be wonderful. Yeah, a lot of people cross over in those.
Yes, it'd be fun. So thank you so much for coming on the show. We wish you all the best in everything you do. And if you ever have anything big you want to, our next guest wrote, "I want to know what he wanted signed." That's funny.
That was a good question.
Yeah, that was a good question. But thanks for coming on. And if you ever have anything big to promote, just shoot me a message and we'll bring you back.
That sounds great. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, everybody, chat room. That was fun. Again, that was Russell Todd. Great guy, good-looking guy, great credits. We're going to take a quick music break. And in our music break, we are going to play Eben Brown, who was a guest on our show like a year ago. No Other Lover. I think you guys will like it. And when we come back, we will be with our second guest, our second Russell of the day, Bill Russell. So enjoy. Hey, everybody. So that was Eben Brown and No Other Lover's the name of the song. And now we're going to bring on our next guest since he's here a little early. Let's bring him on. Hey,
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm good. How are
Am I
you?
early?
You're a little bit early, but that's okay because I let the other guy go early since I saw you on here. So
Right, yeah.
I don't like
Well, I
to have
got
a
your
lull.
message that's, to come by because you were trying to get rid of him. So,
Yeah.
no, I'm
That was
kidding.
hilarious. When you wrote, I want to know what he wanted signed. Even he thought that was hilarious.
I was like, when is somebody going to say? But I've heard that story from other people that I don't know what people think that you can just walk up to someone in at a urinal, and start a conversation or ask for an autograph. That's what we were talking about.
I would, obviously Ron.
So my
did it.
question was, what did the guy want signed?
Yeah, I know. And actually, so the Russell Todd guy is pretty good looking. So I wouldn't have been terrible to stand next to him on the urinal anyway.
There you go.
He's a cute guy. So
Nothing wrong with that.
And what a nice guy.
Yes, he is.
I never met him before, so it was
Oh,
great. To have
really?
him on
Well,
the
that's
show.
cool.
I actually just reached out to him on Instagram, like I do to everybody that I reach out to come on the show, and except for you, I reached out to you on Facebook because you've already been on the show.
Correct. Yes.
So that's different, and we should say you're on the show because of Matt Chasen from Matt's Marketing. There we go. We want to give
correct.
Matt a plug because Matt's one of
Shout out to Matt.
He's literally one of my favorite people in Hollywood, even though he doesn't live in Hollywood. He's like a total stand-up guy, really, really good guy, and
I was going to say, for someone who doesn't live there, he radiates Hollywood.
He sure does. So now, where do you live?
Actually, at the moment, I'm living in Michigan, just south of Kalamazoo.
Okay.
But I still consider myself to be based out of Chicago. Not only is the cost of living much better here, with virtual auditions, so much, it doesn't require you actually being close so much anymore.
No, at all.
So where I'm at right now, I'm actually midway between Chicago and Detroit. And so I get calls from both places. And an hour north of me is Grand Rapids, which has a very thriving commercial production.
I love it. So we should.
I get a lot of commercial work in Grand Rapids.
Let me do an introduction. Hey, everybody! Welcome back to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, one of our favorite indie horror actors. He's become an icon in the indie horror world. Bill D. Russell, hello, and welcome back to the show.
Hey, everybody!
There you go. So
hi, Jimmy. You look marvelous. Let me say.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do.
I just got back from vacation, so I had to rest. I got to rest a little.
Yeah. You've got that post-vacation glow.
Yes. I actually have been to Kalamazoo, so I was a competitive tennis player, and that's where nationals are. And I was a competitive tennis player until I went to college, and then I wanted to go to University of Florida. I was good enough to make the team, but I wasn't good enough to start. So I enjoyed it. I joined a fraternity and played intramural tennis instead, and I went undefeated for 4 years. And I was in a jock fraternity, and we went undefeated for 4 years in tennis, playing intramural tennis. And now I have a bad knee, so I can't do any of it.
Oh, you're going to use that for an excuse?
Yes, I am. I'm one of the unfortunate.
The knee you injured in a horrible motorcycle accident or skydiving. No. Which was it? I can't remember.
I've actually been skydiving, but no, I didn't injure it. I just injured it, and I've had 3 total knee replacements and a knee.
Ooh.
And I've also I had a knee replacement in February, and I had a manipulation in May where they just, because it doesn't move, they knock you out and they just force bend it. And
ow! Oh my God.
Work. The manipulation hurt worse than the surgery did.
I bet. Well, I've had both my hips replaced, and I know that a knee is far worse.
And it didn't work. It looks like your hips work. You're walking okay.
I get around.
Yes, you get around. So I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
We have a lot of time because you came on early anyway. So what?
Yeah, you keep saying that.
How did you? No, it's terrific. I'm very happy to have you here. Obviously, Ron has some things that he had to do, and the only time he could get them done is Wednesday. This Wednesday.
And that's unfortunate because it's Russell Day, right?
No, it's Russell Day.
Well,
I didn't even think
he's
about
here
that.
in spirit.
Ron,
hey, Ron.
Todd. Yeah, there you go. That's nice. Say nice. So, have you always wanted to? Because do you like horror movies? Oh, there you go.
I do. My son got me this for Father's Day.
That's
Like that.
cute.
Isn't that nice?
Yes. Do you watch horror movies? Like, if you weren't in them, is it something that you watched before you got in them?
Oh, absolutely. I grew up. Well, I grew up before the age of the generation of kids who watched all these horror movies from the 80s on cable. They grew up with that. My education is much different because I'm watching a black and white television that only gets 3 channels because there's not cable or satellite
There
or
only are
anything.
3 channels. Yes.
Yeah, and there weren't, it wasn't slasher area yet. So I grew up on Universal monsters,
Yes.
Frankenstein, the
Dracula,
Wolfman,
Wolfman.
Dracula, and the Hammer films, which were basically the same characters, but so Universal and Hammer. And then Ray Harryhausen. I remember seeing Ray Harryhausen when I was a kid, the stop motion animation. So yeah, I grew up liking that stuff, but never in a million years did I think, oh, I'm going to do that. I can be in those someday.
So what did you do before you became? Are you pretty much a full-time actor now?
Yes. Yeah.
So what did you do? While you were becoming?
I'm retired technically.
Okay. What did you retire from?
I used to work for the Chicago Tribune newspaper
Good
in
for
their
you.
editorial information center. I was an archivist.
Okay.
So when I first started working there, and that was in Tribune Tower, if you're familiar with the architecture, it's an old Gothic building with gargoyles on the outside. It was a beautiful building to work in. And when I started there, what we did is we'd take the newspaper and we'd cut all the articles out of the newspaper and we'd write a subject heading on them and we'd stamp the date on them and we'd put them in an envelope in a file cabinet. That's how we, archived any. So if you wanted to research something, the Google of the day was you'd call the reference department and send me all the clips on whatever. So then by the time
A lot different now.
by the time I was done 28 years later, it was all electronic. And that was kind of the downfall of the company because once the internet started becoming popular enough and, everything became digitized, we became, we
kind of obsolete.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Which is terrible. Okay, so then so in the horror movies that you do, well, obviously you're not a scream queen. So do you usually play? Have
you not watched Puppet Master Dr. Death?
I watched that. I definitely.
That's all I do is scream for 2.5 minutes. And how dare you imply that I'm not a queen?
So actually, Puppet Master, I've always enjoyed all the Puppet Master movies. So I've seen, all of them. Obviously, they're not all terrific, but they're all fun. And to me, my whole thing with horror movies is I just want to see something that makes me either laugh or smile or have a good time. That's really all that actually matters. And you do that. You're very animated. You're very animated. Even in your posts on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, you're always very animated. I can see why people would be attracted and want you involved in a project just because of your personality.
It's a blessing and a curse. I remember going for a print audition once, which is where you're just being photographed. It's for a print ad, not a video or anything. And the photographer said, "Bill, just be totally deadpan." And so I did. And he's like, "No, just no expression at all." And I said, "This is it." And he's like, "Even when you're totally deadpan, your face is still too expressive." So
it doesn't always work.
It's yeah.
So what are some of your favorite, not that you've been in, but like some of your favorite, more modern horror movies that you like a lot besides Puppet Master movies? Because
and I will confess, I really knew nothing about them before I got cast.
Oh, wow.
I was aware of them. I'd see the titles on Tubi, but I always thought, who's watching those things? I had no clue.
Yeah, because they have a big following.
Oh my gosh, do they ever? And it's like, I love these guys. It's they're You know, it's like I have a whole community of friends that are fellow Puppet Master fans now.
Oh no, I think Puppet Master's like a lot of fun. Like I was always, I guess because I'm a child of the '80s, I've always been a big, like basically like Hellraiser. You know, Freddy, Jason, and
Sure.
Michael Myers are like the ones that everybody really like knows a lot. And Hellraiser is one of my favorites because I'm
Oh
friends
yeah.
with all the people in it. And then for some reason, I really like the Saw series, even though it's really gruesome. I like the Saw movies.
They're well done. They're well
They're
done.
very
movies.
well done. I've met a bunch of people in them. I even have in my toy and action figure collection. I actually have like in Saw 3, the whole movie revolves around this guy whose kid gets killed, and he hangs on to this pink bunny rabbit.
Right.
And, no, it's a pig. It's a pink pig, and I have the actual pink pig from the movie, in my collection.
Yeah. How? That's very cool.
Oh no, I have like really like cool stuff, and I have a lot of collectible stuff from Saw, and I think it's a lot of fun. But I also I'm starting to like the independent films a lot more since I've made a bunch of them recently. Like the little $100,000 to $250,000 movies.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying a bunch of them. I know you've been in tons of stuff.
Well, indie film is on the rise. It really is, and you see things like what Eli Roth is doing, and
yeah.
Somebody, do I say his name right? I always get his name wrong.
Eli Roth, right?
The Hatchet guy. Thanksgiving.
Oh, Adam Green. Oh, no, that's not Adam Green. That's
no. But he's got like his own thing for independent filmmakers to become part of, and I see that happening.
What do you think of that? Do you think that that's going to be a good thing?
I think so. It kind of reminds me of the story of United Artists and how that formed back in the day, which you and I are probably the only people who know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure you do. But people who got together to say, we're not fitting into what the studios want, so let's do our own thing.
I actually thought
that's what's happening.
That Thanksgiving movie I thought was actually really good.
It's very good.
It was done super well, and I guess it's different than what he's doing. Is different than crowdfunding because you're actually going to own a piece of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Kind of like what they do with that other group where they did the Jason Mewes movie. Fuck, I forgot the name of that. There's another one of those platforms though where you can kind of like buy into them.
Yeah, I can't think of it either.
It seems unusual for me for someone who's as big as Eli Roth, but also shows you that even the people who are really big and been very successful are having trouble getting money for things.
Oh yeah, and everybody wants some. I don't always know how to say because it seems like every project has a fundraiser. So it's like pick the one you want and then become part of it. Because I think that's the cool thing about the Indiegogo fundraisers is like you said, you have the opportunity to get things that you might not be able to obtain otherwise as a horror fan. Screen used props being a big one. In fact, I have a part in a movie called Steve Merlot's Unseen. He just sold a screen used prop for I think $1,000. Somebody bought it. Somebody bid on it before he even tried auctioning it off.
No,
so that kind of thing is popular. So that's what I try to emphasize to people is if you like this movie, invest in it, become part of it. Don't just give us money.
I like that part of it. The only part I'm not 100% down with is when they like auction off all the rolls because I feel like a lot of
that's a different barrier.
They're not actually actors, that are doing it, and I feel like that ruins for someone who's been in a ton of movies. It kind of wrecks it if you're in a scene with somebody and they don't know what they're doing.
Right. Well, I could see it if it's a glorified background extra,
right?
Really,
yeah, that's okay.
Something like that. But
yes.
For it to be an actual role, I'm not big on that either.
Yeah, I'm not like too big on that one. Okay, so you sent me a picture and it says SGNL magazine. I don't know what SGNL magazine stands for.
It's pronounced Signal.
Magazine. Okay, Signal magazine. It's a horror magazine, and you're going to start representing them at horror cons.
That's correct. We're going to be starting to make a convention tour. hopefully in the next couple of months. Signal Magazine is a publication. It's available both online and hard copy, and it's pretty much about the people who are involved in the horror community. So it's not so much here are the horror celebrities as much as here are the vendors or the personalities, the cosplayers, the artists, the writers who are involved.
That's genius, actually.
And that's why, because it's geared toward the convention community, we're going to have a presence at the convention. And for whatever reason, they reached out to me and said, would you be willing to be the face of the magazine? And I was like, me, I'm an attention whore. Yeah.
I am too.
Hell yeah.
So but you haven't gone yet. You're getting ready.
We're just getting ready. In fact, I was just talking with them the last couple of days about we're going to start making some promotional videos and getting things geared up. And hopefully it will coincide with, I'm in a movie called Vic Effects, which just started making the festival round. So I'm hoping that we can coordinate, I can be at this convention where that is playing and also representing Signal Magazine.
So tell us about Vic Effects, first of all, because I have the trailer so we can play it for everybody.
Yeah.
So tell us about Vic Effects and your role in Vic Effects.
It's the tagline is it's a horror odyssey of sound and fury. It's a horror movie about the making of horror movies.
Okay.
For people who love horror movies. I play a director like Wes Craven, John Carpenter, someone like that, who's not just famous, but a little infamous or notorious. Known for the kind of graphic, not just visual, but sound effects as well. And that's what this comes down to is the director I play, his name is Milo Kemp. My former Foley artist, which is the person who creates sound effects for a movie, has passed away, and I come and approach this young woman who's gaining a reputation and was kind of a protege of his and invite her to come and take over working on these movies. And then the movie itself is you see snippets of the different films she's working on. So like one is an alien creature film, and then another one is like folk horror, and another one's a vampire film. And as it progresses, it's sort of like the evil that they're creating with sound and visuals becomes real and present and starts to creep into her life.
I love it. All right. So Juan, get the Vic Effects trailer. It says Vic Effects. You introduce this for us, and then you hang on. We're going to play it for everybody, and hopefully I got the right one. So check out. You introduce it to everybody. Juan, you get it ready, and we'll be right back.
All right. We're about to watch the trailer for Vic Effects. Vic Effects is a sort of a documentary style movie about a woman who does sound effects for movies and the horrible, horrible things that begin to happen as she works on these horror movies.
Enjoy, everybody.
What truly gets people's attention, what gets their attention is rage. Yeah, the way it looks, the way it feels, especially the way it sounds.
I mean, what's it like working with Thomas Raven?
Thomas has passed away.
Wait, what?
Actually, that's why I'm here talking to you right now.
Was he working on a film?
Yeah. Actually, something a little different than what we're used to. He admired you, Vicky.
He's an idol of mine. I really just copied what he was doing.
Which is why I believe that you should finish the film. And I know Thomas would want that as well.
So what now? I don't know. You created it.
So that's Vicky Fex, you guys. Bill T. Russell's movie, and we were going to have Bill on. I actually invited him the week before we went away on vacation, but that was his screening. So how'd the screening go?
It went very well. We had a full house at the theater. Um, applause and cheering at the end, which is better than polite applause and coughing.
Right.
Which, trust me, I've had some of those. And we did the traditional exit interviews. Videotaping people as their reactions, and everyone seemed to really enjoy it. So
I like the electricity part, like when
it's very ambitious. There's so much going on, and the director Chris Shern, it's all him. He edited, he directed, wrote it, directed it, edited it, did all or most of the digital special effects, and scored it, wrote the score, because he's a professional musician as well. So he was able to accomplish a lot on a very limited budget.
And is it now? It's not. It's doing the festival tour. Is that what you said before?
We just are starting to go to festivals now. What we're hoping to do is attract attention of backers or investors or distributors or whatever. So we're going the festival route for now, just to see what kind of exposure we'll get and what interest we can attract. The interesting thing we're discovering is not every horror film festival seems to know what to make of this. We were in the Dunwich Horror Fest. They awarded us Best Feature. We've had a couple other festivals that we were not selected for. But we get the impression it's perhaps a little too sophisticated or into. This is what we coined it. It's not blood and titties.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's not going to grab the audience quite as quick.
Right.
So, it's those all cost money to submit to. So we're trying to be more selective about which festivals that we're submitting to. That being said, if anybody out there runs a festival or knows of a festival that would be interested in what you just saw, reach out to me. We don't mind paying the fee. It's just if they don't select you, you don't get your money back, and we only have so much.
No, I think too. Like it's actually, in a way, I feel like it's kind of like a scam. Like they shouldn't. If they take the money, they should find, even if they had like a consolation round of films that they don't think are as good, but they still should accept them or something. Because
I would agree with you, sir, but
that's the way it goes. Because like I was talking about with the other guy who was on our show, Russell Todd, like whether a film is good or bad, it's very difficult to get a film made. It's an extremely difficult thing to do. I know, because sometimes I run in kind of like an elite snobby crowd of everybody, and they're like, oh, this movie sucks, this movie sucks, this movie sucks. But they've actually made movies, so at least there's something to say. But then I also see a lot of other people, and they're just like, yeah, this is a terrible movie. And I'm like, well, have you ever made a movie? Do you know how difficult it actually is to come up with a story, come up with the money, come up with the cast, and get it distributed? A lot of people make them, but I think, can you also get it distributed so people can see them?
I know so many people that are going to make a movie and
never do.
Little, if anything, happens, or it never gets past the pre-production. It's like they blew their wad on promoting their Indiegogo.
Yeah,
nothing was left to actually make a movie.
It's just not really like the best way to do it. So you have another movie. I don't know where it is, but it's called The Rip Man, R.I.P. Man. And
the R.I.P. Man.
R.I.P. stands. I love that is rest in pain, because I was like,
rest in pain.
And that's a genius
that actually. I don't have a part in that right now. It's a short that's available online. If it becomes a feature, I might be involved as an actor. Right now, I'm serving as an associate producer. The filmmakers invited me to come on and said, if we'd help promote the film, we would love that. So I only serve as an associate producer. You're not going to see me in it, but I said yes. I agreed to do it because I just think it's such an interesting and different concept in film. And if you see the image, it's already won a bunch of festival awards.
Also, I think it's a genius title. What?
Oh, yeah.
Rest in Pain, man. I've seen, probably, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of horror movies in my life, and when I saw first of all, the graphic for it is really good.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
really good. But then when I saw, that RIP stands for Rest in Pain, I was like, wow, that's a good concept. It's a good concept. Whether nothing else, like people should go to see it just because of the concept of the name.
If I'm saying his name correctly, Rhys Thompson, Rhys Thompson, I believe was the writer. Jamie Langlands was the director. If I've got their assignments correct.
I also wrote down Curse of the Ghost Rider, and I brought it up because Lloyd Kaufman is in it and James Stokes, and actually, like, they're gonna do a live action like show on Broadway of what's it called? Not the Toxic Avenger, the other one, Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, yeah.
They're gonna do a live action Broadway rock musical of Poltergeist, I believe, because I was asked to be the head producer.
Oh.
So I brought up because it's a Lloyd Kaufman thing, and James Stokes has been on our show. I don't know if it's any good or not, but I think
if it's Trauma, it's got to be good.
Yeah, that's true. Like, actually, Trauma is so much fun. You know that they're coming out with the Toxic Avenger now.
I'm well aware.
I can't wait. I already bought the new action figure, like, for it and everything.
Sure, of course you did. Peter Dinklage is, I believe, the voice.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage and Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon's in it. Yeah, I mean, it's because I remember very well when it came out. I was I was in the middle of doing improvisation with Improv Olympic, which is now Iowa, Chicago, and theater. But I was working with Del Close, who had been a Second City director, directed the main stage when it was Belushi and Murray and Ramis and all those guys. So he was kind of a legendary person. And it was right about that time that the Toxic Avenger came out, and it was like, oh my God, this is so bizarre. And it really informed what we were doing on stage, because we're just sort of making up the comedy as we go along. It's sort of like what we were doing was long form, so you're improvising a story for 40 or 45 minutes. So we were always like traumatizing everything.
When I started this show, I think we had been on for about a month, and I got Lloyd Kaufman to come on, and I was so excited because I was like, here we are, a show, we had big guests right off the bat. I was very fortunate. But I think he was my first, big horror movie guest. We started out with musicians, and we had like Gary Wright, Dreamweaver, Gary White.
Oh, yeah.
Wright, and we had Expose, which was like a huge girl group. And we had all these big people right off the bat. But he was, I think, our first big horror movie person, and I was so excited. He was a great guest.
He's just an amazing person, and he's so nice. The very first time I met him, he was like we were old friends. I mean, we had mutual friends, but it was like, oh yeah, Bill. And he's taking me around and introducing me to other people. I had just met the man for the first time. That's what kind of guy he is.
No, he's a fantastic guy, and I think that he has built an empire making like low budget but fun ass movies.
Absolutely. And I think I sent you information on another short film I'm in called Therapist.
Yeah, well, I have it. We're gonna play it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's going to be screaming. Well, it will be screaming and screening.
So you play the main villain and the director. Tell us a quick little synopsis, and then we'll play the video.
This is a parody of Grindhouse trailers. If you remember at the beginning of, I think it was Death Proof.
Yeah.
The Robert Rodriguez movie. Yeah, there's a little fake movie trailer for Machete Kills, or Machete in Space. And so kind of inspired by that, filmmaker Chris Stone made this film about a therapist who gets tired of hearing her clients, how horribly they're treated, and she kind of decides to become a vigilante and grabs a shotgun and gets on her motorcycle with her gray bun and her nose pinching glasses and goes on a vengeance streak. And At the
You
end,
guys,
she
it's not therapist like a therapist, you guys. It's therapist like
yes.
pissed
Well,
off.
it's she's not just a therapist. Here, I'll do my closing line.
Okay.
When her clients get hurt, she becomes therapist.
So you guys, here's the video that we've got for Therapist with Bill D. Russell as the narrator and the main villain. Enjoy. We'll be right back.
I'm so sad. The depression is killing me. He hurt my feelings.
My boyfriend? He's destroying my life.
She's listened to one too many problems.
I lost my entire life savings to his timeshare pyramid scheme.
Stop letting him control you!
I can't! I'm too scared. He's got this power over me. It's like as long as he's alive, I will never be free.
Then we need less talk and more action.
She's taking matters into her own hands. It's time for vengeance.
Hurt my client? I hurt you. I'm not taking house calls right now.
The time for talk is over.
You never amount to anything, you worthless puke, you piece of shit. You amount to nothing.
Better lay off the sweets or your boyfriend's gonna trade you in for a newer model. Mom, the weight gain is a side effect of my lupus medication. How long are you gonna use that excuse?
Just graduated college, Dad. Think you me a hug?
Don't disgust me, you overdeveloped plop of spunk. Don't hug.
This city is full of scumbags, and it's time for someone to take out the trash. He's prescribing pain.
I'm gonna need to go and check my appointment. Would you be able to tell me if this is gonna be covered by my HMO?
So sad. The depression is killing me.
Yeah, who is it? Hey, Slimeball sent you?
bunker.
What are you writing?
You've crossed one too many boundaries.
Wait.
So, how does that make you feel?
Hurt her clients and she becomes therapist.
I love it. You look great in it. First of all, you look
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you very much.
You look really good, and I love the narration throughout it, and I love the therapist lady.
Tina
She's smart.
Papademos is her name. She's amazing. She's so good in that.
It's so much fun the way she like fucking blows you up and shit. It was hilarious. I mean, it's done. It's very fun and campy.
That was it was a lot of fun to do, and Chris Stone, the director, said, Bill, this is what's going to happen. You're supposed to blow up and you land in this shopping cart, but don't worry, we've got a dummy that will be in the cart. And I said, why not have me in the cart? You can have the dummy fly through the air, but let me be in the cart. He's like, are you sure?
Yeah, it gave you more.
I may be old, but damn it, I'm going to climb in that grocery cart. You
Yeah,
better
I
believe
probably
it.
wouldn't be able. I could get in it, but I probably couldn't get out. Would be
As I recall, I probably needed help in and out.
You're not that old though.
Also, I took a little nap, so you know.
How old are you? Do people know? Is that like a public thing, or that's not a public thing?
68. It's public.
Okay, yeah. So that's not old. You're a little bit older than me, but not much. But I could probably get in the cart, but I wouldn't be able to get out.
Yeah.
I would have trouble getting out, but it's a lot of fun. So now, where do people see? Well, actually, you can just watch it on YouTube, you guys, because it's a short. And was that the whole film? That was the whole film, right?
That's the whole short, and it's already won a bunch of festival awards. Like I was just saying earlier, it is going to be screening at the Trauma Dance Festival. I believe that's on the 27th of this month, and the schedule has several shorts playing right before the big Trauma feature, and ours is one of those. So we've got a good time schedule.
Good for you. I mean, where is the Trauma Festival?
In New York. I can't.
Okay.
I don't know more specific than that.
Are you going?
Unless something happens at the last minute, I don't think I'm going to be able to go right now.
Okay. Well, I think it's great, and I think you were great in it. And you guys, if
Well,
you
thank
want
you
to
so
see
much.
it again, you can watch the show, the replay of the show on YouTube, and get all of Bill again, or you can just stick in therapist on PISSED on YouTube in the trailer.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's not a whole lot of other things called that.
Yeah, not a lot of things called therapist.
And Planet Garbage is the production company. So Therapist Planet Garbage, and you'll get it.
I love the all the different ideas. Like so, I was a big fan of what was the movie we were talking about? Planet Earth, and what was the other one? It was
The Death Proof, you mean?
Yeah, Death Proof. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah.
So when that movie came out, I was a big fan of that movie. I actually
It's so much fun.
met, most of the people that are in it. I had met, and I love the way they did that grindhouse style like stuff at the beginning when
Right.
they showed the trailers and stuff. So I think that.
And I just want to point out another Russell.
Yes, and another Russell. Yes,
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, believe it or not, lives down the street from me.
Get out, really?
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. I guess I shouldn't say down the street from me because I live in the poorer section of town and he lives in the more expensive, but it's only like a mile away.
Right,
so
right.
It's down the street.
So you're on the wrong side, or maybe the right side of the tracks.
Yeah, there are no tracks, but
I'll sidebar real quick. I worked on a film with Goldie in Chicago in the early 80s, mid-'80s, about the time I was doing improv. She made a movie called Wildcats, where she played the coach of a football team.
Yeah.
And I was one of the referees running up and down. You know, I was like a glorified extra. But she was so nice. She ate with us. You know, it was they had a whole bunch of extras because it was supposed to be a football game. She came and sat at the table and ate with us. Halfway through the meal, stopped to take a call from Kurt Russell on the world's largest portable phone. Just very down to earth and the sweetest woman. It was such a nice experience. So please tell her when you see her that I said how much I enjoyed that.
I don't know if I'll ever see her again. I saw the two of them once at
Well, just go over to her house and I have a message from Bill D. Russell.
One thing about Palm Springs is like everybody like has houses here, literally. Like, Michael Douglas, Kirk Douglas used to live across the street from them. I don't know, just everybody like has had a house here. It's filled with famous people. Which you guys, I should say, you can follow Bill on his Instagram. It's Bill X Russell. I think I wrote it down.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, Bill with an X Russell instead of the D. And
I set up my Instagram before I made the decision to use my middle initial professionally because, you know, there are other Bill Russells.
Yeah, that way you come right up too.
Yeah.
So it works out better. That's okay. It makes you sound like a porn star when you have Bill X Russell.
That's okay with me. Yeah.
And that works. So you don't have to worry about it. So we've got 3 minutes left. What are we going to promote? So what else you got coming up that I should make sure I let everybody know about?
Steve Merlo's Unseen. Have I mentioned that yet? That's being distributed by Bayview.
Oh, that's good. That's a pretty good distributor.
It is. Yeah. They also distribute another film I'm in, They Came Back From Somewhere, which I don't know. That's the one that's kind of a Plan 9 from Outer Space parody. And I play the alien supreme leader, sort of a Ming the Merciless type. One of my favorite roles. I get to choose so much scenery.
No, that part.
But Bayview distributes that well. But it's available on YouTube Movies, their special movies channel. But it's free.
There you go. Also, I want to give a plug. I guess you were in Evil Lurks. You were in Evil Lurks?
Yes.
So
it's nice you mentioned that. Evil Lurks, Chris Shern, who made Vicky Fex, was part of the production team behind Evil Lurks. In fact, he did a large part of the writing and the editing and everything.
So you guys should watch Evil Lurks. It's a fun movie. Aaron Hawkins did it. He's a friend of mine on Facebook.
And my part in that is radically different from what you saw me play in the trailer for Vicky Fex.
Which is good, though. It shows that you're a real actor and you can do anything.
Right. I guess. Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
You get to do everything because a lot of people, even our last guest, when he was talking, he said he would like to work with Jack Nicholson, and I'm a huge Jack Nicholson fan. But Jack Nicholson basically plays the same character in every role that he plays. You know, he can do that because he's Jack Nicholson. But you're an actual actor. You can actually do a bunch of different things, and I think that's a tribute because nowadays most people can't.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
So everybody follow Bill on Instagram, Bill X Russell. Check out all the different films. And if you're at a convention and you see him representing Signal Magazine, make sure you say hello.
Please do.
And we want to thank you for coming on the show, and we'll see you on social media.
Yeah. See you again.
All right, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks. Thanks, chat room. All right.
This is MC Alfred. I'm just chilling, Jimmy Star, yo, sitting down and designing. Where every man in my thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
British punk, yo, wanna be Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out.